let's take on the hardest question first. There's many pushbacks to this, but the one thing that I think is pretty universal is we don't want to go to wars on behalf of other countries. The one of the pushbacks that we're seeing is we're going to war on behalf of Israel. Take that on, please.
No, we are not. We have been battling Iran for the past several decades. And if you look at their nuclear aspirations and developing enriched uranium for a nuclear warhead, if you look at the fact that they fund terrorist proxies that target American citizens, and their development and use of ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles, all of these things are developed really to keep Americans at bay, to threaten us, and ultimately take on the United States of America. It's not just solely Israel. Now, Israel is a phenomenal partner and regional ally, but this was done to protect United States citizens. It is being done in conjunction with Israel and many other partners, including the UK, including Germany, including the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, you name it, a lot of the Arab partners throughout the Central Command region. So this is not just about Israel. Thankfully, their longevity is much more secure now. But ultimately, the president is looking at America first and protecting our citizens. And that's why he is engaged on these strikes.
So enlighten me on why you think the timing is what it is. I know this is about exactly a year since Trump laid out that letter to Iran that they need to do a few things, including not funding terror in the region, no more nuclear enrichment, and no more ballistic missile production. And they've done all those things. So that seems like that could matter. But what about the timing do you think it makes the most sense?
Well, I do think that Iran is at a point where, given the pressure internally from the population, as well as other types of domestic politics in Iran, they have a weakened economy. They are a very weak country militarily. And because of that, and the pressure that has been mounting coming from Israel and other countries in the region, now was their weakest point, which is important to understand because we don't want to wait and lose that opportunity where they start to reconstitute, whether it's on their missiles, their military apparatus, getting rid of all of the protesters, slaughtering, tens and tens of thousands. If we had let it go, it could have been into the 100,000 of the protesters. So I have posed this question before. It's a historical one, but if not now, when? And if not us, then who? Now was the time to take out Iran and its leadership. We've got great partners. It was absolutely the right decision by President Donald J. Trump.
One other thing that's noteworthy is that after the Midnight Hammer attack, which was obviously successful, a lot of the rhetoric was that Iran's nuclear capability was completely wiped out. I imagine that was a combination of a slight exaggeration and some things clearly, I think, have changed operationally, especially given what Steve Witkoff was saying yesterday, that Iran's actually been enriching to 60% already at a pretty rapid rate. Is there new information there, or how do we square those two?
Well, we will be getting a classified briefing this afternoon, Alex, but what I can say and what we've heard on open reporting is that Iran continued to enrich. They moved to other locations. They have the technology. What we did do was wipe them out, set them back, but certainly they had the enriched uranium. They will keep enriching as long as they can produce the technology to continue down that path. And then as they were building additional underground bunkers, again, according to open source reporting and intelligence. But we knew that they weren't going to stop. And this is the problem with the negotiations. One, I'm glad that the president brought the regime to the table and tried to negotiate. That was an important step. But what it did, it demonstrated to the world that we were trying to negotiate. We gave them every opportunity to stop enriching and stop their nuclear ambitions. They chose not to do that.
It just
So
that just seems so
here
fundamental
we are.
that isn't. I mean, isn't that sort of step one that we
Right.
kept telling them and they just said,
Yes.
no, we're going to keep enriching? Seems like a big deal. Okay, so we got about 2 minutes left, and I got
Yes.
2 questions that are essential. The first one is the craziest one. What happens next? Because it is an even bigger mess than we thought, because Trump has been in Israel been so effective in wiping out, I think, like the next 50 people in the line of succession. So do we have any clue what's next?
Right. And we don't know. Honestly, we don't know what is going to be next. What we would like to see is that the Iranian people are able to hold elections. We're a while off from that, obviously. It's still very chaotic in Iran. But we would love to see the population put forward a number of leaders and secure a leader through a more democratic process. Is it possible? I sure hope it is, because I think we would once again see a very vibrant Iran, returning to the way it was maybe 50 years ago, with individual rights and freedoms, and a really thriving economy. I hope that we can see that once again. We've got a long ways to go, no doubt about it.
Senator,
But at least they've been given an
the last one
opportunity.
for now, and this is another really tough one, is that even if this is a righteous war and a successful fight, it's an uphill climb at home, because all the Trump haters are going to say it was a bad idea,
Yes.
and much of Trump's base is isolationist. So, and even a successful surgical strike is going to just rub them the wrong way. So, what is the ideal messaging to try to make sure that this is not a crippling political moment?
Well, sometimes the right thing for the American people is not the popular decision. But absolutely, for those of us that have followed this and have focused on the Middle East, Iran absolutely was a threat to the United States. So we will stay the course. Let's make it swift. Let's take care of Iran now. And then future generations will not have to be burdened by this any longer.
Senator Joni Ernst of Iowa, also on the Senate Armed Services Committee. Thank you, Senator. Check back in anytime.
Thank you.